What makes something great? Is it is it comparison? Is it only comparison? Is it just, well, this one's better than this thing, so that means it's great. This one's the best thing out of everything else that we can compare it to. We group things into categories and then we can compare them. Well, this new iPhone is better than the old iPhone because XYZ, whatever it is. The camera is better because it's got higher resolution, you know? Is there any objectivity to it? Or is it completely subjective? Is it just that everyone says it's great, so it's great? Can I say anything is great and say this is just great? This is the best. This is the best to me. And is that true? What makes something like music resonate with someone and they think it's great, whereas other people hear the same music and don't like it? Or what makes music that is generally liked by a lot of people and is considered great by critics and the majority of the population? I think there's something to stories behind it. These stories, I mean, I never really gave stories that much of attention until not that long ago, but they're a huge part of being human, enormous. Stories are the way that we are able to convey information easily historically. Before we could write, before we had videos, before we had books, before we had science, before we had instruments, before we had really any technology, we had to tell stories in order to remember things, right? Stories are easy to remember. The narrative, and those narratives can be passed from human to human and be stored in a collective consciousness that we define as culture. So there's something there with stories. I need to look, or I want to look more into stories because there's something there, you know. The stories make it great, make something great. It's the stories behind it that we tell ourselves or that we're told about something that makes it great. Whether it's overcoming, or sacrificing lots of things in order to make this thing great, or the rags to riches story of starting at the bottom and rising up to the top. Yeah. But there's also something there about the story of just doing what you want and chasing, or not chasing anything, and just doing what feels right. I think with music, like, you resonate with music, or I do, that is like, this guy was just vibing, he just was doing his own thing. It's not like a formula, it's not formulaic, it's not written by 20 different people in order to appeal to the majority or mass appeal. Like, that's what music means, or great music is to me. But there's also quantity or quantification behind greatness. It's easy when there's something measurable to say what's great. Who's the fastest runner? Okay, we can measure that. Therefore, he's the greatest, right? So anytime there's anything that's quantifiable, that's typically a shortcut for defining greatness. Who's the greatest YouTuber? you'd say probably Mr. Beast or PewDiePie because they've quantitatively have the highest numbers in certain regards. I mean, Mr. Beast has the highest views and subscribers currently. So it's hard to say someone else is better than him because it has that quantity behind it. It's the same thing with music too, streams and then there's something about money too, because money is quantifiable. Your net worth is quantifiable. And you can say whoever made the most money in this career is the greatest at it. Now that's interesting. I think there's numbers and quantification is sometimes a shortcut. Is Elon Musk the greatest human because he has the most money? I think for a lot of people, the easy answer would be yes. For a lot of people that value money above all else, or business-minded people. Because, look, we can measure it. But for a lot of people, it would be like, no. We have to define greatness as what it means to be a human, a great human, something different than money. And it's hard to define. It's hard to quantify what makes a great human. So I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud what greatness is. I think I had a more simplified view when I was younger, which made things easier. Oh, sports as well. It's so easy to define who's the greatest in sports when you go head to head. All right, he won, therefore he's the greatest, or that team won, therefore he is the greatest, or they are the greatest. That's probably why we love sports. There's something deeply in sports that is us versus them and warfare, driven within our psychology. Deep warfare mindset, because warfare in a tribal community, your tribe versus someone else's tribe, that is so deeply ingrained in our genetics and our neuroscience. So deeply. And people will be like, no, that's not true. Bro, we've only been in a civilization for 10,000 years. We were in tribal communities that were constantly at war with each other for all the rest of the history. And even in civilization, it was constant warfare. The fact that we haven't had a major war in the world, other than America involved in a major war, it really, if you start thinking about it, it hasn't been that long. It depends on what you define as a major war. So, yeah. It's easy to define greatness in war, the winner, the victor. It's easy to define who the winner is in a battle, or who's great in a battle, the victor. There's something with social hierarchies as well. All right, that's probably where I end it. Just getting some thoughts out there, thinking about what it means to be great. I'll develop this idea, planting a seed for now.